most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical
Together
therapist.
we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
If you wandered upon this video, it's a video that's part of a series of videos on plantar fasciitis. Go to bobandbrad.com for the entire series. This one is called General Rules for Purchasing a Shoe when you have plantar fasciitis. So, number one, you're going to want to determine your arch when you want to buy a shoe, and we actually did a video on how to do that, and it's called Types of Shoes You Should Wear with Plantar Fasciitis. Watch that video. It'll show you what type of arch you have, because you want to match your arch to the shoe that you're buying.
Right.
Okay. Number two, shoes should be immediately comfortable. Don't let you were just talking about this, Brad, that the salesperson was trying to kind of convince you that.
Right. I put a shoe on. Everything was good about it, but I've got a wide foot, and he did his little squeeze test, and he said, oh, that feels okay. I said, it feels a little tight. And he says, well, I think that'll break in. And I said, I'm not buying it. I need another pair. And he didn't argue. So he knew I was confident, but get what you want. It should feel good.
It should feel immediately comfortable. There should be no breaking in. If you need arch supports or inserts, you should put those in right away into the shoe.
Right.
I mean, if the shoe doesn't have it, but
Correct.
we're hoping that you buy one that does have it, so you don't have to deal with that even.
Exactly.
Number three, when you go shopping for shoes, you should wear the socks that you would normally be wearing. If you're going to be walking or running in the shoes, you want to have athletic socks on that you're normally going to be using.
Right.
If it's a dress shoe, you're going to want to wear the sock that you're wearing.
Sure.
Seems like a minor thing, but it's not, because the socks have different thicknesses.
Right. It's notable.
So you may also want to try the shoes on at the end of the day. A lot of people get some swelling in their feet, even if it's minor.
Yep.
And so you don't want to be dealing with a shoe that doesn't fit right because you bought it in the morning and your foot wasn't swollen at that point.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I know with my feet, it's a definite noticeable difference, especially on one of my feet. It's different. So it could be different from one foot to the other.
This next one is different on mine. I have one foot that's a little bit longer than the other. So it's a little bit of a problem, because generally you like the length to be at least a 1/4 inch longer than the longest toe. At least, you can put it in there and put your finger width in there.
Right.
And on one of them, my toe is kind of up against the edge of the shoe, and the other one, it's got a gap. So I need to chop off my toe.
Well, you can just buy two size,
a
pair of 9s and a pair of 10s on the other foot.
There we go. There we go. All right. Number 6, the width is going to, obviously, you want to go by comfort. Now, Brad, you do go with a wider shoe.
Yeah, I always get usually the widest. Like a New Balance, I get a 4E. That's the widest one they typically make. Different manufacturers have some different ways they do it, but I always get the widest shoe they make. Otherwise, it's not comfortable.
Yeah, because if the shoe is too narrow for you, your foot could actually kind of go numb.
Oh, it's not comfortable.
And
I've done it.
You've done it.
I went home. I thought, well, they're a little snug, and I get home, and they always get snugger. It's like, wow. And I try running on it or walking, and within a few hundred yards, I don't even go any further.
Sure.
I mean, it happened to be twice. I'm also slow.
It takes you a while to catch on. And if it's too wide, your foot's going to slip. So that's just as bad.
Right.
So,
you want that slipping causing issues.
Now, ideally, too, you want the widest part of the shoe, which is right here, to kind of match up with the widest part of your foot. So, if you put your foot here and here's the widest part of my foot, and it matches up with the widest part of the shoe.
Yep.
If it doesn't, you may need to look for a different style of shoe. I mean, it's as simple as that. So this is another important thing, which I was really surprised at what of a big role this was. They did a study that showed that incidence of plantar fasciitis decreased by 72% if people rotated their footwear. So in other words, if you have a running shoe, you should have 2 pair.
Yeah.
And on one day you wear the one pair, and the next day you wear the other pair. The reason is it takes at least a day or 24 hours or more for the cushioning to rebound and get back to its normal shape. So I kind of poo-pooed this for years, but I'm going to go to this because hey, I don't want to get plantar fasciitis. I've had minor bouts of it. So
Yeah, it's no fun. It puts a real dent in your life.
if you have plantar fasciitis, you might want a bit of a heel too, because that will take some of the stress off of it. A
Sure.
lot of these running shoes have a natural heel on
Yeah.
it, a third inch to a half inch, depending on comfort.
And
But
if you're looking for shoes and you hear someone talk about minimalist shoes, we're not even going to get into it, but it's a minimalist shoe is not going to work for plantar
it won't,
fasciitis.
because it has no heel, right? It's
Yeah,
just
it's
completely
flat.
flat
Yeah.
along. So, I'm numbering these off in my head. If you have a leather shoe like I have here,
Yep.
these are not comfortable shoes generally.
I know.
They're
I've
not
had a
cushioned.
couple of those, and it bothers my forefoot.
Yeah. So there are more comfortable dress shoes for men,
Hmm.
and you may want to wear something like that if you're going through plantar fasciitis,
Right.
because
Right.
you're going to want all the help you can get.
These are pretty nice ones.
Yeah,
These
those
rails,
are cushioned.
they've got some support, a little art, and they're soft in there. They feel like a glove. Fits like a glove. But
Yeah,
it's a shoe.
and there we go. And the thing about this one, it actually doesn't have much arch support either.
Sure.
So
Hmm.
it's really kind of bad on two ends. And the same is true with work shoes. Now, work shoes are designed for safety. They got the steel toe and all that,
Right.
but they are not designed for comfort. So you're going to want to probably remove and replace the sock liner, and you might want to put one with arch support, or you
Hmm.
may want to put one that's more cushioned,
Right.
depending on your
Yeah.
comfort.
I had a pair of steel toes when I worked in the shop. Nice pair of Red Wings too. And I did. I took them out. I actually got some custom arch supports and put them in
You
there.
did.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can speak. You know what you speak.
Ah.
So
Ah.
next one, women's high heels. I usually don't wear these, and I don't think you do either, Brad. But you want to, if you're going to, you want to limit to about 10% of the time overall in your life. If you're having a big event, you can go ahead and wear them. Or if you're going to be sitting a lot at a desk and you're not really standing on them, it's not as bad. But
Yeah, but if you got plantar fasciitis, if you can just eliminate it
I'm talking more about if
in general.
if you don't have plantar fasciitis right now,
Oh.
cleared up, and you want to get it.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
generally, you're right. You shouldn't be wearing them if you have plantar fasciitis. So, hiking boots have great support, but they have great arch support, but they're generally not very cushioned.
Sure.
So, but they probably would be good for you. You could wear your hiking boots to work there if you have plantar fasciitis. Um, Also, the point again, we're making all these general statements about shoes. You want to start replacing your shoe if the wear pattern goes down. And this is how I used to be able to tell, like when I'd start getting plantar fasciitis, is when my shoe would start to wear down. You want to show these, Brad? You're
Yeah.
pretty good at
Yeah.
these.
So this is Bob's old shoe, and this is his new shoe, and they're got a similar
Similar
tread on the
pattern.
bottom. You can see the new one here. You can see clearly where the grooves are and whatnot. And his has a similar pattern, but look at this groove right here. All of a sudden it splays out and it's getting like it's falling apart, and that's because it is. The actual rubber that's supposed to take the wear is completely wore out, and the actual cushion is taking up the brunt of
The
the load.
pressure.
It's wore out, and this shoe is
It's like
it's junk.
there we go.
It's
It's
time to
like
throw it
it's
out.
like a tire on a car, when the tread gets wore down.
Nah.
And the thing is, if it's wore on the outside, it may be wore more on the inside
Right.
in the insole. So it's time. I hate, they're expensive,
Right.
but that's a cost. I mean, plantar fasciitis is probably more expensive to you in your life.
It's
As
a
far
dent
as
in your life. I
yeah.
said that before. A dent.
Yep, there we go. If you do work on hard floors, you want to make sure you change positions often,
Yeah.
and try to get off your feet to some extent,
Right.
and whenever you can.
And that's when you can you put.
Yeah, why don't you show some of
You
these?
can just put cushion inserts. They don't do anything with the arch necessarily if you don't have arch prob or modification. Like this is a cushion. This is a pretty thick cushion on this one. You can see now this is a different type of material, more rubbery. This is more like a foam, not near as thick. And I don't know what the difference would be, but this is when I used to run. I always bought my running shoes. Well, I still run, but when I ran heel toe, I'd just buy these right away.
Sure.
Take the factory ones
Just
out,
to
put
get a little
these
more
in.
cushion.
Yep. Now that he changed to 4-foot running, it's a different story, which is another video.
Sure.
But anyways, that's two examples. Here's an example of an insert that has intentionally a higher arch put in.
Right.
And I've had people put these in their shoes and life has gotten better.
Sure.
The support there is where it's needed, but you have to figure out how big of an arch you need. And there isn't a real easy formula to go to the store and say, I want this one, this, and
Yeah, we're not going to make a recommendation even. You're just going to have to work your way through it and find out one that works for you.
right. You can do
So,
the tests on our other videos so you can see what level of arch you have. If you go to a good shoe store that has a knowledgeable person, they'll be able to look and
sure,
help
and help
direct you
you.
to the arch support that's going to fit more
We do
likely.
have a video on arch supports that may help you. It gives you a few guidelines.
Sure.
So, all right, thanks for watching.
Oh, we're out of time.